Let's talk about the Plainfield North Tigers 2012 football squad. Will they reach the playoffs this season? Absolutely. But before we get to that point and I justify my case, let's turn the clock back a little bit. Go back to 2011 and look at what their record was last year at 5-4. They came off the field on week 9. Heads hung a little bit low, rightfully so. I mean, there's an expectation at Plainfield North to reach the playoffs every year. Nobody goes into that program thinking that they're not going to reach the playoffs. Last year, they got stunned a little bit. There were a couple of close games that I think that they gave away, mistakes, uncharacteristic mistakes of a team that's pretty well disciplined and knows what they're supposed to be, but youthful mistakes. Some of it's timing, some of it's luck, some of it's, bad luck, for that matter. But the reality is that they did not make the playoffs last year, and that really sunk into this football team in the offseason. You got a large group of kids that are coming back from that team last year. And they've spent their time in the weight room. They've spent their time in the classroom. They've listened to Coach Kane and Coach Darlington and the rest of the coaches really push them hard. And, I saw this past Friday night a group of kids that are just determined to prove that they're better than a 4-5 team. And you know why they can do that? Because 19 of those kids are coming back. And that's why I think predominantly that Plainfield North is going to see the playoffs. Not only are they going to see the playoffs, I think they're going to smoke a lot of teams this year. I think they're that good. And what gives me that confidence in this ball club is simply the fact that they're a unit. They've been together a long time. They're a talented unit. I mean, look at Jay Roberts, for instance. I mean, Jay Roberts is a stud. I mean, I've talked about him leading up to this season for the last 6 weeks. And I stand behind what I'm saying about this kid. This kid's a stud. He's going to put up, last year he put up 1,200, 1,300 yards, something like that for the Tigers as a junior. This year, he is bigger, he's a heck of a lot stronger, and he's a lot more confident. I mean, he's got offers right now waiting for him for baseball. He can go baseball if he wants to go baseball. But I think in his heart, he really wants to play football, and he's a great football player. And, I asked him in my interview that you guys you'll see and hear his response to this, but I asked him, at the college level, do you want to play football and baseball? And he's absolutely. I mean, this guy's like a Bo Jackson kind of good for his age. That's how good he is. He's really strong. He's not maybe as fast as a Ty Isaac. He's certainly not as, built the same way, maybe as slender. He's much more stockier. That means he could take that hit. If linebackers come to hit him, he isn't going to be taking the hit. He's going to be giving you the hit. This kid can run. He's got some field vision. He's got some speed. He's got a nice stiff arm. He understands the plays, and the team is confident in him. Coaches are confident in him. So look for Jay Roberts to be their horse this year. But when you take your eyes off of Roberts and look at the rest of this offense, it's amazing. I mean, Kurt Palendek could be, I've said before, I think the kid over at Romeoville, Jake Banville, he could be a really good quarterback this year. You know what? So can Palendek. I mean, Kurt is a second-year starter at varsity. His brother held that position before him. So there's a good pedigree there at the quarterback spot. There's a comfort level from the coaching staff. There are some great things about Kurt. Kurt can run. I mean, he's shifty. I don't think they like to run him a whole lot, largely probably due to the fact that they don't have a great backup. I did get to see their backup, by the way, and he isn't too bad. But, there's a confidence there in Kurt, so you don't want to maybe run him as much as you'd like because you just don't want to see the kid take a shot and then be out of the game and maybe change the fortunes of that game. So I think, Palendek, the other thing, he's really mature beyond his years. I mean, you get him in a huddle, he's not going to get rattled. He's not going to get shook up. He's disappointed about last season, too. This is his senior year, and he wants to go out on a bang. I just don't think you're going to see a lot of this football team lay down. There are other kids like Brett Fox. And Brett, I know you're out there, and Brett used to play for me. I remember when he was a little kid out there and slugging it away. Well, you know what? He's been slugging it away on varsity for 3 seasons. 3 seasons at defensive line. They moved him out to linebacker this year. And let me tell you, talk about bigger, stronger, faster. Either I'm just getting older, fatter, and dumber, and that's probably, a lot of that's probably true. But, you look at Fox and he is bigger, he's faster, and he's stronger. And, he's another diamond in the rough. There's a lot of diamonds in the rough here at Plainfield North that you just aren't seeing, you're not hearing about with the media. And I have full confidence in this team that they're going to win the SBC. Straight up, they're going to win the SBC. And and the reasons why I believe that largely is because of their offense, but also because of their defense. They've got a great place kicker, so even if you slow them down, stop them, they can play the field position game with you too. And eventually they're going to break one. Their defense is good enough to slow just about everybody down that they're going to see. Now, they open up this Friday night down at Bourbonnais, and that's a team that I think, Bourbonnais is one of those kind of teams where it's hit or miss. About once every 3, 4, 5 years, they're really good. And this could be their year in Bourbonnais. So I can't honestly say that Bourbonnais is going to beat them or lose to them. But I can tell you that Plainfield North, I just don't see a whole lot of teams out there that are going to be able to hang with them. They only lost one game in their 7-on-7s during the summer. I mean, the timing is there, the arm is there, the receivers are there, although they did drop a few passes in the red-white game that they had on Friday night. But that aside, this is a really good offense, and I think going to Bourbonnais and traveling to Bourbonnais, they'll be able to work out some of the bugs. They won't have the pressure of a home crowd on top of them. They're already going to be jacked up. And heck, if you're a football player and you're not jacked up for game day, there's something wrong with you. I mean, there's another sport for you, but it certainly isn't football. So if you can't get, you can't get up for a football game, definitely something wrong there. But getting up for the football game and getting overhyped is a big difference. And I like the fact that North is going to go and play away. I like the fact that they'll be down there because you know what? The next week they come back and they got Lockport at home. And Lockport last year beat them. And Lockport wasn't a bad football team. But I do think that the Tigers shot themselves in the foot in that loss. And trust me, they haven't forgotten that loss. When you're 4-5 and you look back at some of the teams that you should have, could have, would have beat, Lockport stands out as one of those games that there's our 5th win. I mean, that's a win that we should have had, and had we not had those early mistakes early in the season, maybe we're looking at a playoff berth. Even if it's a bubble team berth, you're still looking at a playoff berth, and it just didn't happen for North last year. So this year, I don't think that's going to be the case. Their defense is above average. I wouldn't say that they're fantastic at every position, but I do think that they're above average. And, I like their special teams. Special teams is one of those wild cards where we all seem to overlook it, but, when you need that extra point, when you're in a tight football game and you get a turnover inside their 20 and you can't move the ball, you want that kid. You want that kid that can drill that 30, 40-yard field goal, and this kid can do it. And then let's talk a little bit about, where I think Plainfield North, who's going to compete with them in their own conference. And when you look at the SBC, I think Oswego, they're going to be that'd be a good game. I think that Manuka, that'd be a good game. Plainfield East, Plainfield, all the Plainfield schools, they're always good games because they're rivalries, but I just don't see anybody really taking Plainfield North out of their game. I just don't see it. And maybe I'm wrong. It's not often that I'm wrong, and, I've got my lucky 8 ball that says I'm never wrong. And I say right now, Plainfield North is going to go, let's see what the lucky 8 ball says. Yep, that's what I said, lucky 8 ball. 8-1. Why don't you listen to the players and the coaches and let them tell you how good they are? Check out this video. Talk to me about, first of all, you guys got some size. I mean, you're the muscle on that offensive line, but you're playing defense too. Now, last time we talked to you, it was basketball season. You were, coming off the court, but now here you are in football and looking like a football player. How excited are you to get it on? After all the work, long summer. And 7-on-7s, you don't get a lot of work in those 7-on-7s being a lineman. Yeah. So how excited are you just got in to lay the smackdown?
Yeah, we went to a lot of camps and everything, and we put a lot of work in the summer and the off season and everything, so we're hoping for big things. We got a lot of seniors and everything coming back, so, we got, high expectations for ourselves, conference championships deep in the playoffs and everything, even like state championships and stuff. We got big expectations and big hopes, I guess, yeah.
All right, so... you're a junior this year, right?
Senior.
I'm sorry, senior, but
yeah.
You'll be a senior on next Friday when you guys come back to school? Or
no,
Thursday?
We're back in school now.
You're back in school now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, excuse me, because some of you guys are still sitting at home and not in school until you start next week.
Yeah.
All right, so you are officially senior.
Yeah.
So where do you want to go to school? Have you been talking to anybody?
I have one scholarship offer from South Dakota to Division I AA, but I want to go to school somewhere on the East Coast, like Ivy League or Patriot League or something like that. But, anything that comes, I've talked to Indiana. I went to a bunch of camps this summer and everything. So, I hope everything works out for me, and I think it will. So I just have fun.
Academically, where are you academically?
I'm pretty good
GPA?
academically. GPA 4.7.
Squat?
Squat?
Yeah.
405 max.
You got to remember, there's a lot of scouts that are watching this tape right now. So what was that?
405 max.
405 max. So not too bad. You got a good JPA. You got some good strength. Play for a good football team. You got a hell of a running back. It's going to make you look good if you lay some pancakes.
Exactly.
So, again, good luck with you guys next Friday night. Yep. You're traveling out to Bourbon, and you get to come home for 3 weeks.
Of course, yep.
And defend your, it might be nice. You guys end up 4-0. You get to defend your home field.
Yeah.
All right, hey, I'm with the Plainfield Tigers' new senior running back, because last year, I can't say new running back. That isn't right, because last year you ran for 1,200 yards. Yeah. So, but you're not old and crusty either as a senior, because you ain't run the gauntlet yet. But I've talked a lot of smack about how good I think you can be. How good can you be? I mean, do you got that swagger? I mean, do you have a swagger about yourself? I mean, talk about your game a little bit.
I mean, I'm only as good as my offense is, So linemen will keep blocking good as well. I mean, quarterback, we have to stay balanced. Quarterback throws well. Kirk Talent. We got as long as our line keeps opening up holes like they normally do, like I know they will, then my run game will be pretty good.
You got a good offensive line in front of you too. I mean, you got some great tackles. You can run off, but once you get to the outside, you've got breakaway speed, and you've got the strength, I think, right now to run through those arm tackles. So they're really going to have to square up in order to get you down. How much work did that take you in the off season?
Oh, we worked really hard. We worked all June, all July. We worked really hard all summer. Going to camps and 7-on-7s. Those been helping a lot. But we've been working really hard in the off season, getting our lifts in and everything. Getting a lot bigger and stronger than we were last year. So we're ready to come out this year.
People ask, who can we compare you to, and I won't be unfair in comparing you to anybody like in the prep league, but could I compare you to like a Bo Jackson type, because you're a hell of a baseball player too. I mean, talk to me a little bit about the college. What are your hopes? I mean, because I know you got some offers out there for college baseball. Are you hoping to get football? Are you hoping to play maybe both?
I could play both sports in college, yes, sir. I mean, if I get a good offer for football, I could walk on the baseball team, get a good offer for baseball, walk on the football team. So I could go both ways.
So you're going to go to Michigan, right? Well, you'll take any school at this point, right? Division I, right? That's what you're looking for is D1, and get out there. What's your biggest fear for the season?
Biggest fear for
you personally?
For me personally?
Yeah.
Not beating my records last year. I got to come back out a lot better than I did last year. Returning starter, senior running back. I got to, keep my. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Composure.
Yeah, keep my composure. Stay
healthy.
Stay healthy for sure. Yeah. I got hurt last season, pulled my groin in the middle of the season, so I got to stay healthy for sure.
Hey, you got a couple of backs too. They're younger classmen, juniors. That's going to take a little bit of the breather off you, be able to get you out for a play or two, just to get catch. Especially if you get a big run, you got to get that breather when you're gassed. So, and it looks like they're pretty capable. I mean, like they can pick up the slack.
Oh yeah, our two younger backs are really good. We got one really strong back and can run somebody over. We got another just really quick back and beat you to the outside corner. And, run for touchdowns. That's what we're for.
All right, so last question. Are you excited?
Oh, I'm pumped. I'm ready.
You ready to play? I mean, because baseball's one thing. You play baseball after a while, it gets repetitive. You're real good at it. Yes, but there ain't nothing like smacking two pads going about 40 miles an hour.
Oh yeah, I'm pumped. I'm ready.
So I'm with the Plainfield North Tigers starting quarterback, second year, Mr. Palandek. Tell me, why should people be afraid of your offense?
Well, we got a lot of returners to start off. Our running back, Jay Roberts, is back, and, our line, we got big boys up front. I'd say one of the bigger lines around, and, that's going to help for sure. But, the experience is, it's just being out there with the returners, it's something that you feel comfortable with, and you feel like it's a routine now, not so much, new stuff out there.
How disappointed were you last year? I mean, you came off. I mean, you played as a sophomore up on varsity. Your older brother was out here, and he had the reins of the offense then. But then he had a guy named Capri Biggs in the backfield. And the expectations, I think, when you were coming in last year as a junior were quite high, and there always are with Plainfield North Athletics. But were you disappointed with a 4-5 season?
Oh, for sure, extreme disappointment. We were juniors, but we still had our hopes up high. We had a lot of talent, and this year we have our expectations high as well.
What was the difference last year? Some of those losses with turnovers.
Well, we're just inconsistent all around. Offensively, I'll take responsibility for that, and defensively, we just hope to play more consistent. With that experience, we hope that'll come with it.
You guys have really been most of you guys on this team are multi-sport kids here. I mean, you're a baseball star, you're a basketball star, you're a football star. It's your varsity season. How much pressure do you feel going into the year, or is that pressure finally gone? Like, hey, I'm here, I've paid my dues, and now I'm going to hang out.
There's always pressure just being competitive. I put a lot of self-pressure on myself. You got pressure from everywhere, but it's still a game. I go out there, I'm playing confident, and I only can hope for the best. So I don't put too much pressure on myself or too much anything.
Well, then you play for the right reason, though. You play to have fun.
For sure, I play.
Obviously, you
play to win, though.
You play to win, right?
It's only fun if you win.
right. But how great is it going to be when you get to walk out there, and your varsity year? I mean, what's your hopes for the season?
There's no better feeling than going out and get a varsity win. Senior year. I'm hoping to take it all. Senior year is just nothing like it. Can't describe. It's just going to be the best feeling playing with with just the whole team, not just seniors alone, just juniors. Everyone playing together. But it's going to be a special year. Hey,
Quest is gone this year, right? So who's going to be your go-to guy target wise? I mean, who do you feel most comfortable with? You had some drop passes tonight, out there, and I think they were all dropping a little. They hear them footsteps. They're saying 7-on-7s no more, right? But who are you most comfortable with?
We had a lot of guys, as you said, stepping up in 7-on-7. Once you put the pads on, it's a little different. But our main target's probably going to be Brock Tomes. He's running a lot of the primary routes, but we got Mel Welch, who's going to step up and play Jay Koslavic, and Jay Roberts is probably going to catch some passes out of the backfield. So we got a couple of guys out there, but yeah, Quest. I really like Quest. It's going to hurt, but we got other guys that can play. Yeah,
talk a little bit about Brock. I mean, he's a tough kid. I mean, he's a tough guy. He can probably play defense because he's not really a receiver. He's like a linebacker with hands.
Yeah, he's an all-around athlete. That's all I can say about him. He's a competitor, so he might be in the backfield, but I like throwing to him because, like you said, he's a tough guy. He'll be physical, but he'll probably be on defense too as well. So.
All right, Kurt. Well, hey, listen, I'm sure you got a lot of autographs to sign out there, and I got some film to edit. So we want to wish you the best this season. We'll see you a lot throughout the year, and hopefully at the end of the year, and we start talking again in late October. We'll talk about a playoff game.
For sure. Thank you.
And with Coach Kane, and a week away from your first game, you got out here, and they look pretty good. I mean, you got 19 returning starters, so it's not too difficult to get them going. But how difficult is it to incorporate those younger classmen into that 19, We're
going to have some of those juniors on the field for us, there's no doubt about it. And I think the great thing about this year is we have so much competition for positions. Although we've had a lot of returning starters, we keep telling the kids, coming off a 4 and 5 year, obviously that's not very good, so it doesn't mean too much. You still have to go out there and earn your spot. We have a lot of juniors who have been doing a great job pushing guys and have earned some spots out there. But I think on the flip side of it, we've had outstanding senior leadership. Our seniors have done a great job all summer teaching the young kids how we're going to practice and what our attitude's going to be and how we're going to approach things to, obviously get back to competing for conference championships, getting in the playoffs, and now winning some playoff games.
Hey, Tigers are never a cupcake team anyhow, no matter if they're 4 and 5 or 8 and 1. And you've had some great teams in the past, but if you're talking to the other SPC schools out there, specifically talk about the Bourbonnais, why should they be afraid of the 2012 Plainfield Tigers? Who should they be looking out for? Why are you confident in this group? I mean, you got your offensive tackles, big, huge kids.
Yeah,
you got some bricks. You got Jay Roberts. You got.
I think probably two things. We do have some size up front, which we don't always have every year. Kiefer's moved from tight end to tackle, which has made a huge difference. We got two pretty good sized tackles now. We still got to work on things. They both have plenty of things they need to work on to get better, but. I think we can be pretty balanced. Like you said, we got Jay Roberts returning with almost 1,200 yards rushing. We got Kurt coming back with, 1,400 yards passing. So I think we can have a pretty balanced offense, whereas, some years we line up and we're just going to run it at you, which we may still do sometimes. We try to do what we're going to have success with, depending on what the week is. But I think we can be a pretty balanced attack this year with the guys that we have coming back.
Well, and if Jay Roberts goes down, it looks like you got a couple of kids there that can run with the ball. That sophomore come out, I think he's a junior now, number 30.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know his name, Coach, but a little fire plug, man.
Oh, he's real quick.
He was tough to bring down. I mean, he takes the hits, and maybe he's not as quick, but he can't take him down.
Yeah, we got Trent Cavan. Trent Cavan played a little
number
linebacker
20?
there.
Yeah.
Did a good job. And then Robert Baker, is a little bit shifty. And both of them really did a good job tonight. Both of them juniors coming up, learning about varsity football. And both of them, like you said, can go in there and do some things. If Jay needs a rest or breaks off a long run, we need somebody in there. I think both of them could go in there and do a nice job for us.
Hey, special teams look pretty good tonight. I mean, he got a kicker this year. Yeah, it's pretty accurate, and he gets the ball up.
Yeah, he did a good job. He's coming back from us from last year as well, and he has a strong leg.
Yeah, he does.
He's been kicking all summer and really done a fantastic job. We did a few extra points and a field goal tonight, and he did a pretty good job. So hopefully, he can help us change the field position. As you know, that's a huge part of the game, is getting the field position in your favor, and with him being able to kick off. And I think we have a pretty good punter. He wasn't out here tonight, but we didn't have him punt. But to be able to help us flip the field sometimes is going to be a big difference.
How much confidence do you have in your defense this year? Offensively, I think everybody knows that you're going to be tough offensively. Defensively, though, are you going to be able to keep teams out of the end zone?
I was really the most disappointed. Obviously, you're 4-5, you're not real happy with very many things. But our defense, we just weren't very good last year. We didn't cover people. We didn't stop the run. We weren't very physical. And those are things I think in the past we've at least been able to line up and play tough, hard-nosed football. So that's something we've stressed all summer long. You can't tell from a scrimmage. Obviously, we came out and we hit pretty well. I think we do have a lot of kids who are physical kids and tough kids. But we'll find out next week when we take the field and it counts for real. When you get in a little bit of adversity, when you get in a little tough situation, if they break a big play, how are you going to respond? How are you going to play? And are your seniors going to step up and say, hey, we're going to buckle it up a little bit tighter, and they're not getting in the end zone. So we feel like we've improved, but you really don't know until you get out there.
In 2 non-conference games last year, I won't talk too much about Bourbon because you got them next week, and it is what it is. But now you got Lockport coming here, and that was a great game last year. And you guys had the lead in that game.
Yeah.
Does that stick in your craw a little bit? Because those non-conference games, and it's not so much whether it be Lockport or anybody, but just a non-conference game in general. When you drop those, how bad does that hurt in a conference like the SBC?
I think any coach will tell you it's nice to start out 2-0. It's nice to get a couple wins under your belt and learn from your mistakes, but build a little bit of momentum before you get into the conference play. And obviously last year we had a lead in that game. We had some turnovers.
That was a nutty game.
We had a block punt there toward the end. So we had a couple huge mistakes that absolutely killed us. And we know Lockport's going to be a good program. They got big kids. They got good athletes. They got 4,000 kids in school. So we're going to have to be ready to go. But it is going to be a home opener. And I think our kids are going to respond real well to that and be ready to go this year.
Is Jay Roberts as good as Capri Bibbs?
They're different types of runners. I mean, I don't know if you can really compare until you really get the season going. Capri was obviously a good player as a junior, but then as a senior, he just exploded, and improved like most kids do from their junior to their senior year. I can tell you Jay has looked outstanding during two-a-days. I mean, he really looks like a lot better runner than what he was last year in terms of his vision and in terms of his ability to make some moves and his speed. So, once again, we'll see once you get out there. Sometimes you do that against your own kids, and it's one thing, but we got to go play somebody and find out. But Jay is a very all-around back. We can throw the ball to him. He runs good routes. He has great hands. He blocks well. Very unselfish, so he's doing a nice job for us and certainly going to be a big part of our offense.
Hey, you guys smoked a lot of teams in 7-on-7s over the summer. I mean, how much credit do you give to that? Just to looking at your defensive backs and in your throwing game. I mean, you guys were pretty much tough to beat all summer long.
Yeah, we played. We went to Bowling Green. We won that tournament over there. We went to Central Michigan. We lost in overtime. I don't know. I'm not real happy tonight. We didn't catch the ball very well. We had way too many drops. I thought Kurt threw the ball very well.
Put it there.
Obviously, in the summer, we caught the ball pretty well. And that's different. 7-on-7, you're not hitting people. So these receivers better figure out now you're going to get hit and tackled and those types of things. But
that was a great line that you said, too, to the kids. Hey, you don't catch, you ain't getting the ball.
Well, that's how we operate. And that's the truth.
Right.
We'll move whoever we need to move in whatever formation. If that kid's catching the ball, that's who we're going to give the ball to. And those kids, but how it works, too, kids then respond to that and say, hey,
sure.
I want to make sure I get the ball. Now they ratchet up their play. And once again, going back to what I said, it's just competition for jobs. And they realize, well, hey, I want to catch the ball, so now they start working a little bit harder, concentrate a little bit more. So, we have some good athletes out here, but we need to obviously work on a few things. But I think the other thing you alluded to, it really helped our defensive backs as much as anything in the summer. Run some different coverages and cover some people. And like I said, last year we didn't cover very well at all.
You did good tonight.
We did a lot better. We break it on the ball a lot better. We made some adjustments on motions.
Kept the guys in front of them, right, yeah.
A lot better. And we got to do those things. Obviously, we're going to play good athletes and good quarterbacks, so we're going to have to be able to do that. So it was nice to see us progress from the summer into the hitting phase and still be able to play in the defensive backfield.
Yeah, and you've always talked, this is a playoff football team every year.
Yeah.
It's an expectation here at North to make the playoffs, not a hope. And so knowing that, you got to get really good because you're in a really tough conference, and once you get outside of your conference, and then you're in this, in 7A, and you're picking up somebody like Glenbard West or a Lincoln Way East or something. You just know who you're going to draw, but you're going to pick somebody big
for sure.
And so how important was that 7-on-7 just to see so what some of these other great teams have got, and can we run with them? Is that confidence helpful at all?
I think it is
early,
but I think then that has to transpire during the season. You have to continue to win games and build that momentum, and then go play those teams and be confident going in and be able to be a balanced attack. You play the teams that you mentioned, you can't go in there and be one-dimensional because they're gonna shut you down. So you have to be able to be multifaceted with formations and running and passing, those types of things. But I think you're absolutely right. We talk to our kids all the time. We expect to compete for conference titles. We expect to get in the playoffs, and that's just how hard you better work, and that's how dedicated you better be and how committed you better be. And our kids have been. Over the years we've improved, each year until last year. Last year was where the first year we kind of took a step back. It was very disappointing. And our kids have talked about, hey, we're going to do something that other seniors haven't done, So get a home playoff game, more wins, whatever the case may be. Go deeper in the playoffs, whatever the case may be. So those kids have their goals and are focused on that, and I think that's important for them to think about that in the big picture. But also, in order to do that, you have to do your job every play. Every play you have to be focused and disciplined and committed to doing your job. You can't think 5 weeks down the road. Somebody's going to sneak up on you if you start thinking like that.
You still get butterflies before the first week?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You get some before tonight. You're coming out here and your kids are playing and scrimmaging. It's different than being on your practice field. You're under the lights. You're on your stadium field, and it's a little bit different energy level and that type of stuff. So, for sure, you have that anxious moment where you're just excited for the game. You're excited for your kids to go play somebody different. We've been doing it all summer, the 7-on-7s in June and some camps in July, and now playing our own guys all August. So it's going to be the anxious, excited of let's get off the bus and let's test ourselves and let's challenge ourselves and see how good we can play tonight.
A lot of great coaches have never won a state title. John Idaho said at Bolingbrook last year when he won the state title finally after years and years of coaching, he said it's all about the kids. Part of it secretly is probably a little bit about me too, because you all want to win. Everybody wants to win.
I think everybody wants to compete for sure.
How much weight do you give that? Do you guys even talk about a state championship at the beginning of the season? Some teams set their goals at a playoff win, but then there are other teams like JCA or Providence who say we want to win the state championship. Right. Is that a goal that's reasonable for your guys at the beginning of the year?
I think it is. Our kids talk about that, and like I said, that's what I'm talking about, taking new steps in our program. We've won a conference title. We've been to the playoffs. We've had back-to-back seasons of 7 wins, and now it's time to take that next step. And you can't just say, well, I'm going to take just one step. Our kids have worked hard and put in the time, and why not be able to go as far as anybody else? And I think that's the attitude that they have. Obviously, as coaches, that's the attitude we have. I don't think you ever go into a season saying, I don't know who we can beat this team, beat that team. You go in every week, you better prepare and put your best team out there and bust your tail as coaches and as players to be prepared for that week. Then you do that week and week and week, and hopefully good things happen to you throughout the year. But I think 100% what you said when he said you have to have players to be able to do that. Players who are committed, players who have the right attitude, and obviously you have to have some talented players to do that too, and then coaches have to put in the time. So it's a mix of everybody working together.
Who's the one kid that you think that fans don't know about, guys like me don't know about? Who's that one or two players that you think, hey, come talk to me in week 4 and I'll give you his name?
Yeah. Maybe Colin.
You got a couple of those guys?
Yeah, Colin Holt maybe. Colin Holt's playing some defensive back for us. He played a little bit of linebacker for us last year and a little bit of defensive back. I think he's had an outstanding summer, and I think he's definitely flying under the radar a little bit. And I think Brett Fox, Brett's been a 3-year starter for us.
Linebacker this year.
Yeah, linebacker. He finished the season playing some linebacker last year. But he's a little bit under the radar too, although he's been a 3-year starter. So I think those are going to be a couple of names where people are going to all of a sudden kind of know who they are.
Been a production of SouthwestSportsNest.com, home of the playmakers and game changers. Remember, do your best. Get on the nest.